Seems as it would not have been a good day to go today. Record reflect we are back in session. Parties and council are present. And all members of our jury and our alternates are present. Our last witness, Becky Smith, is still on the witness stand, and I believe Mr. McGee was in Cross, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, Mr. McGee, may continue your examination then.
Make a note of that. And we'll start. Morning, Sergeant Smith.
Good morning, sir.
So, when you spoke yesterday, we talked about the measurements you took of the truck that was belonged by my client.
Objection. Misstates testimony that was 2 days ago.
It was the day before, but
Yes, that's
close
how
enough.
my mind operates, yeah. We were talking about the measurements that you took of my client's truck, correct?
Yes, sir.
You also had investigative tech last name Russ with you?
Correct.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
You had investigative tech last name Russ, R-U-S-S, with you that day?
Correct. Mike Russ.
And Mike Russ has helped you do different parts of the measurement of the truck, the processing of the truck?
Correct. So Mike Russ is a CSI. He photographed it. He conducted latent prints, placed the measuring tapes.
And you also had Mike Russ use Blue Star to look for any kind of possible blood being present inside or outside the vehicle?
Both, yes.
And so you checked the inside cab area, correct?
That's correct.
And you sprayed the Blue Star, as we heard from other testimony, it would change the color so you can look for a presence of blood?
Yes, sir.
And was there any change in the color of the Blue Star spray in anywhere in the cab of the vehicle?
Yes, there was.
There was.
Yes, sir.
Do you have that report with you?
It's not my report. It's CSI Russ's report, but yes, I do.
Do you have your report you wrote to them?
I do.
And can you review, or on page 9, you said that those tests did not yield any additional evidence, correct?
Correct. He got a presumptive positive. There was also a lot of positive hits in the cargo area of the truck, but because it's steel, the way the Blue Star reagent reacts to the steel, it gives you a false positive of luminescence.
So that, in essence, you did not find any evidence of any blood that you confirmed inside the cab.
No, I believe that's still incorrect. I believe there was a hit in the cab on the seat of the area, but it didn't come back to anyone involved in the investigation.
And then the same thing for the cargo area in the back.
The cargo area luminesced, but because it's steel, the way they iron the steel, it's the same thing with like the hemostats. They react to iron. They iron in your blood. So we did get positive marks, but we were unable to confirm if they were blood or not, and there was no subsequent DNA or anything from that.
Now also, we discussed where you looked at the truck at night, correct?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
And you wanted to be able to look at it to see the headlights and the running lights, and those came on. You remember that part of the testimony?
I do.
And I'm going to show you what previously marked exhibit 795. Did you review this before your testimony this morning?
I did.
And what does 795 contain?
This is a CD. It's a video that we took from a just a photograph camera with a video setting of Mr. Brubaker's, I'm saying it wrong, I apologize, truck driving down the street.
And when you say Mr. Brubaker's truck, that is the truck that was previously owned by my client?
Yes, it was.
This video, I think, is 5 seconds long. That asked it.
Sure.
Set for the jury.
sure.
Computer 4.
lights. Might want to hold it. Start it once the lights. A little bit more.
The ones in the front.
We can still go a little more. There we go.
Plate exhibit 795. And that's the video.
Yes.
I'll play it again. I'm going to stop. And you can see in the video here, can you identify with the laser pointer, if you're able to, the headlights, running lights, and tail lights that are in that picture?
Absolutely. So on the right side of the picture, these are your headlights. Right underneath them in the rectangle are the running lights. You actually see the reflection of them off the bumper. And then this, and again, that's on the right side of the picture. On the left side of the picture is the high running light tail marker on the back of the utility truck.
Now, there was times that during your investigation, you would look at photographs that were taken by San Diego,
Yes, sir.
and you would sometimes use those photographs to compare to evidence that you had before you. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And let's start with one thing. There was a robe, a picture of a robe that was in the master bathroom of the Fallbrook house that was taken by Sheriff's Department in February of 2010. You know which photograph I'm referring to?
Did you say a ruffled robe? There's a picture of the white robe that San Diego took.
Okay.
The ruffled robe is missing.
Okay, that's right. You saw pictures that were not from San Diego, but they were recovered from the house.
Correct. They were in the family school videos.
And you saw a robe that had... Can you describe what you saw in those photographs instead of me telling you what to say?
So there was an additional robe that it was, I believe it was white in color and it had ruffles along the side of its trim.
And you did not see that robe in the photographs in San Diego, did you?
That robe was not there when was not present in the photographs when San Diego went through.
And so at some point did you try and find fabric consistent with the missing robe in the evidence recovered from the grave?
Yes, we included that in our review of the grave pictures and the material in the graves.
Could you tell the jury what was the result of that review?
We found fabric, but nothing you could conclusively say was the robe. There was no ruffles. I didn't find any ruffled material.
So you couldn't find anything that confirmed the missing robe was in the fabric inside the grave that was recovered?
I would say that I couldn't tell you either way. I didn't find any ruffles, but we did find material that was consistent with the actual robe cloth portion of the robe, but there were no ruffle trim that I found.
No identifying marks that you were looking for?
We were looking for identifying marks, we didn't find any.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You didn't find the ones you were looking for.
Yes.
And you did the same thing also, kind of in reverse, with the towel you found in the grave, is that correct?
Correct. So there was a towel that had a flower imprint on it.
And that was a large imprint, like pretty much in the center of a towel.
Yes.
And we saw those in going over the gravesite photographs. And then, did you review all the photographs to see if a towel of similar pattern was found anywhere in the McStay household?
Yes, I did.
And did you find any that matched that pattern?
No, I did not.
And then did you review the photographs that were taken, that were shown during Ms. Williams' testimony of the contents of a wallet found in the master bathroom?
Yes, I did.
And those ended up, well, the wallet's contents appear to be belonging to Joseph McStay Sr., correct?
That is correct.
And you took a closer look at all the items inside?
I did.
And what are the kind of items you saw inside?
There were various cards, there was an ID in there, and they were all expired.
And did you reach a conclusion based on the expired nature of everything in the wallet?
I did, yeah, I believe that that was an old wallet, maybe one they gave to the kids, but it wasn't his current wallet.
And his current wallet was never located?
That is correct.
And during the investigation, is it fair to say San Bernardino did not release any of the information they knew from its investigation until after an arrest was made?
Yes, there was a press release that was played. Well, actually, that's the one at the end. There was a press release where the bodies were located at the graves, but we did not release our investigative information or what we were doing.
And I believe you arrested my client sometime in November of 2014?
November 5th or 6th, correct?
And you had to review some of the anonymous tips you received during your investigation before the arrest, correct?
Yes, it's very onset of my involvement in the investigation.
And some of these anonymous tips, did you attempt to follow up on them?
Attempted to follow them all of them, yes.
And some of the information contained within the tip, did any of it contain information that you haven't released yet? As an example, did one tip contain information about internet searches being done on the state computer?
Objection, because of hearsay relevance.
Overall, foundation.
Yes, there were theories in almost every tip. Everyone who presented something had a sighting or a theory, but yes.
Yeah, you had hundreds of tips to go through.
Yes, sir.
But there was one particular that said there's an internet search done on the computer. Correct?
Correct.
And then that was done by Dan Kavanaugh.
Objection, hearsay, lacks foundation, relevance.
Overall, it's not admitted for the truth of the matter asserted in the tip, only to show that they received information and what, if anything, they did with that information, so it's foundational. So the objection's overruled.
You're misstating it a little bit. We received an anonymous tip that alleged Kavanaugh conducted that internet search. I was unable to locate the anonymous tipster because they were anonymous.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So the anonymous tipster said that Kavanaugh conducted an internet search on his computer, lured the family out.
Objection, hearsay, relevance, lacks foundation.
Overruled. Again, it's not admitted to prove that whatever the information was in fact true, only to show that this was information that was received and what, if anything, was done with that information.
Yes, thank you.
Well, then I'm going to object as the relevance to what the information is.
Overruled.
And then Kavanaugh lured Joseph and the family out of the house, killed them and buried the bodies. That was part of the tip, correct?
Correct.
And that he drove the truck to the border.
Correct. It basically stated all the information that was out from San Diego.
But the internet searches weren't out, correct? Because it was your department that looked into the state's computer.
Objection, argumentative, lacks foundation.
Did you, and you could not contact the tip person because they were anonymous, correct?
That is correct.
Did you contact Kavanaugh and ask him about that information that should not have been known by the public?
Objection, lacks foundation and misstates the evidence.
Sustained as to foundation.
Did you contact Kavanaugh and question him about the contents of this tip?
As I stated on Tuesday, I was not involved in Mr. Kavanaugh's interview. He was interviewed by Detectives Bachman and Hickey.
Was he interviewed before or after this tip was reviewed by you?
After.
And there was another tip that you reviewed from an anonymous source, correct?
many tips are getting from anonymous sources.
Well, there was this anonymous source tip that said they reviewed a news report and comments that were listed within that news report.
Correct.
And the person that left that tip left it anonymously, correct?
Yes, sir. This is the first name username.
No, I mean the person that called in.
Oh, correct. Yes.
So you couldn't contact that person.
That is correct.
But on the news report, you still had the name of a single first name person leaving a comment that Kavanaugh bragged about killing these people for years in San Diego, correct?
Objection. Same objection. Next one.
Again, the objection is overruled. It's not offered to prove that in fact is true, only that may have been information that was received, and what, if anything, was done after that information was received.
Additional objections, Vegas to time.
Overruled, yes.
The news report had a comment from somebody stating that was related to tip, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it had a name associated with the comment.
Yes, sir.
Did your department follow up with the news agency's website to get the contact information or the IP address of who made that comment?
Objection. Lacks foundation. Goes for speculation.
Overruled, yes.
I would have to, if you have my report present, I can look at it and review what we did. I believe this was just like a screenshot or a capture, and I'm not sure that it provided the news agency so we could do what you're suggesting, because it was just a single name anonymous source. So
The comment came in anonymously, but there was in your file, like it was a CBS local news website.
Objection. Argumentative.
Does
Lacks
that refresh
foundation.
your memory?
The objection is sustained as the city facts, not in evidence.
Do you remember seeing a screenshot of a CBS local San Diego website with that sort of comment?
yes, sir.
And did you contact that CBS local news in San Diego to get the contact information or any information you can about the person posting the comment?
Objection. Compound and vague.
Overruled, yes.
I have to look at my report. Offhand, I don't recall speaking with anyone from CBS in San Diego.
Now, the exhibit 795 that we reviewed here in court today, where you can clearly see the running light.
Objection. Argumentative.
Did you review
Overruled.
the Mitchley video to see if you could see those same running lights?
Yes. Yes.
And can you see those running lights in the Mitchley video?
Yes.
Yeah? Exhibit 418. Exhibit 418 should be seated. Show you 418.
It's the other video.
Correct.
Objection.
What?
I don't know what exhibit this is. It's now being displayed to the jury.
418 was the people's exhibit that was previously identified by the witness.
Shit.
appears to be a vehicle coming out of the driveway across the street.
And I don't know where we're at on the video.
That's what's going to happen at that time.
Yes.
And what is the time marker that you see on the bottom left of the control?
It's 11 minutes, 8 seconds into the video.
And I paused it at what time?
Positive 11:10.
And can you identify for the jury where those running lights are on the front of that vehicle?
You actually get a better view at 11:09, but what you're going to see, this right here on the upper video and this right, I'm sorry, I'm pointing to the right side of the photograph underneath the driver's side headlight and the passenger side headlight, this rectangular portion. If you go back to when they first pull out of the driveway and go frame by frame, you can see that.
You mean that's not the reflection off the bumper like on the other one?
Well, on the other one, the running lights reflect off the bumper as well.
Where are the actual running lights? Can you identify that?
Well, I'm going to object. He's already said there's a better view of it prior to this.
Sure, you can go back to 1109.
Let's go back to 11:02. Play it from there.
Up. Again, on the right side of the visit, you passed it a little bit, but they're going to be underneath the headlights, and that is the reflection from the running lights, as you saw in the other video.
And the reflection, or the running light part, you're saying those lines, or those light lines are inside the width of the headlights, correct?
I believe the running lights are outside of the width, but that's where you're seeing the reflection, the light reflection of the running light.
On exhibit 418, correct?
I don't know. Correct.
Now let's look at 795 one more time. Can you point out the reflection on the bumper and the running light in 795 for the jury?
Absolutely. So in the middle, you see the running lights and then their reflection. I would add this is taken at a much closer distance and a much different angle and with a different camera. What this was is a presumptive test to see if we should do some more stuff as far as measuring angles to see if the truck fits the video, which we did.
Isn't it true that you're seeing running lights that aren't there in video 418?
No?
Objection argumentative.
Sustained.
Move it straight.
Well, the answer can be made.
Now, part of your investigation, part of the investigation that you were doing was you were looking to compare the blanket found in the gravesite to the missing futon cover, correct?
We did compare the cover that Joseph was wrapped into the futon cover.
Correct. And you interviewed Kathy Sanchez on August 20th of 2014, correct?
Yes, that name sounds good, yes.
She was the friend of Blanche Aranda, Summer's mother?
Objection. Hearsay. Lights Foundation Road.
Sustained.
Why were you looking to match the futon cover to the blanket in the grave when Kathy Sanchez told you?
Objection. Hearsay. Lights Foundation Road.
Objection sustained on that grounds and argumentative.
What can I be heard here?
Short council approach. right, if the objection sustained is phrased, you may rephrase the question in light of the court's ruling.
Just based on the court's ruling, is it okay if the court asks the question so I don't go outside the order of the court?
Sure. What was the name of the witness?
It was Kathy Sanchez.
And I understand, is it correct that you interviewed Kathy Sanchez?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did she give you information that she found something that she believed was the futon cover somewhere in that residence?
Can I look at my report to refresh my recollection? I have an electronic copy, so I don't know what.
Okay. And again, this is not, the purpose of this is not to prove the truth that it was the futon cover, but again, only to show this was, if it was information that they received, then what, if anything, did they or did they not do with that information, or why they did or didn't do certain other things.
It is starting on 7380 is your interview from August 20th, 2014.
Let me just read this then. Okay.
So did she give you information that she found what she believed to be the futon cover somewhere in the residence?
She said she found covers that she thought were for the futon covers, but that doesn't specify if it was for the pillows or for the body of the mattress. She found some covers, yes, in the
Okay.
laundry room on Washington.
And then, what if anything what if any significance did that have to you with regard to attempting to still compare fabrics from the gravesite to photographs of the futon cover?
Well, we've heard and people have told us so much about what is and what isn't missing, and the futon cover specifically was odd because it's clearly not there when San Diego did their search warrant. So we're trying to locate everything. We've had people tell us that it wasn't there, they couldn't find it. We've had other people say, I thought there was a cover. Like Ms. Sanchez said, it looked like there were some covers in the laundry room. You have some photographs of covers that I looked at as well, or what could be the cover in the laundry room. The fact of the matter is, we can't tell you either way. We tried to compare, but we don't have what is suspected to be a cover from the laundry room in San Diego's search warrant anyways. So I can't compare that to the cloth that Joseph was wrapped in. I can tell you it's consistent, but that's my personal opinion. I don't have any technical knowledge on that. I feel that that cover that Joseph is wrapped in could be the futon cover. I can't tell you if it was or wasn't, but the futon cover was big. Joseph was 6'1".
Okay.
Simple question. In all the photographs you saw, and the people you talked to, the futon cover had zippers, correct?
I believe it did, yes.
Did you find any zippers in the grave on any of the blanket material?
No.
And when you testified just here in your answer, you said other people told you the futon cover wasn't in the house. Is it true they told you it wasn't on the futon?
You're grouping a lot of people into one, but suffice to say they couldn't locate the futon cover, whether...
Everybody's comment was...
Objection begs everyone's comment.
That was... everybody-
Maybe you can rephrase it to all of the information.
all the information that you had was that there was no cover actually on the futon, and that's what everybody was commenting on. That was odd or weird or different, as people describe.
Yes.
Nobody said we searched the entire house and we didn't find it anywhere in the house. That's not the information you had, correct?
That's accurate.
further questions for the witness that you want to subject?
Sure. Yeah, you gonna read it?
Yes, Your Honor. If I may. May I proceed?
Sure.
Just to clarify, Sergeant Smith, there were a couple issues, well, not issues, but questions I'd like to see. The items yesterday during the scene visits, when we were out there, there were several items, pictures on the ground that had been pinned into the ground.
Yeah, the pin flags, yes, sir.
Right. Were those items photographed where they were found? In other words, were they outside of the graves when they were found?
Yes, the majority of them, I believe there was one of the pictures by the graves that I think was actually interred.
I'm sorry?
Very,
Okay. But for instance, the right cup of the bra strap that was located outside the grave.
yes,
Okay, and there's a piece of, looks like fabric that was pinned to the ground, or a picture of the piece of fabric was pinned to the ground that was found outside the grave.
correct,
Okay, so the items that were, the photographs that were pinned out there were items that were found outside the grave.
correct.
Okay. When we were out there, the jury came in a certain direction. By the way, I'm taking over for Mr. Imes because he's not there.
We would object to more than one person, but I understand he's not available, so just making the record clear.
The objections overruled.
Okay, so the jurors walked in from one direction. Was that off Quarry Road?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Is there another way to get to that site where we were?
Yes.
Okay. And how was that?
So as you guys came in off of Quarry Road, pretty quick, if you're looking to the right, there's a maintained road. It's a gas line road. You can actually turn, it would be right or I guess be northeast on that gas line road, and you can come up that wash. You can go north all the way up through that wash right to the graves.
And then actually you can get back to Quarry Road heading south, right?
Correct.
So in other words, as we were standing in that wash facing the graves, if you go right, you get back to Quarry Road.
Correct, yes.
And the graves, I'm going to show you Exhibit 185 that's been previously shown. Okay. The graves were labeled out there with green markers, is that accurate?
Yes, the green placards.
Okay. And so up there, do you see where it's labeled A and B?
It,
That's where the green placards were yesterday.
correct, and it's in the center of the photograph. A and B.
And the memorial that was there when we were at the scene yesterday was basically in the middle of where A and B were marked on Exhibit 185, correct?
Correct. The memorial was actually over the center point or the azimuth.
Which was also displayed there yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just another photograph for reference, Exhibit 186. Okay, we've seen this, we've heard it described, that's the freeway up in this direction, is that right?
Yes, at the top of the photograph is the I-15 freeway.
Okay. And the one way to Quarry Road, or actually the way you and I and Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Hines left was down this wash here. Is that right?
Correct. You can follow the wash, and I'm showing you the laser pointer as it snakes down to the right of the photograph, and it intersects with a gas line road, and that's closer to the freeway.
And just for the record, it's kind of that shape there, just immediately to the right of the center of that photograph.
Yes, sir.
During your investigation, did you determine where the defendant's sister lived?
I did.
Where was that?
Juanita Merritt lived in Oro Grande.
She lived there in 2010.
Yes, she did.
I'll show you exhibit number 187. That's what we're looking at there.
So this is a photograph of the grave, of the scene. You see in the center of the photograph the vehicles. You see some flag markers on the trees. But this is actually Quarry Road, correct? Or this is Quarry Road.
And the landfill's there on the left?
Yeah, so on the left you have the landfill that we saw the dump, and on the right you have the tall mountain.
Where's Earl Grant?
Earl Grant is right behind the mountain.
How far, as the crow flies from the grave sites of Earl Grant?
As the crow flies, it's probably less than 5 miles. You can get there on dirt roads, and it takes about 8.
So you can get from the location of the grave sites to the defendant's sister's residence
Yes,
and use dirt roads?
yes.
Did you determine where the defendant's brother lived in 2010?
Did
Where was that?
in Hesperia?
Where is Hesperia in relation to the grave sites?
Well, you guys passed it as we were coming to the gravesite, so you passed the exit to it. It would be, I was going to estimate a distance, as a crow flies, you're looking at 20 miles?
South of where the graves were?
Correct, south.
Going to back up a little bit, kind of back to counsel's questions from today. You were asked some questions about photographs taken by San Diego that depicted a road.
Yes.
And you were asked about that road and a ruffled road. Could you describe that a little bit further, what that conversation was about? 'Cause I don't think we brought up a ruffled road previously.
We did not.
Okay, tell me about what you learned regarding a ruffled road.
It was there prior to the McStay's missing,
How do you know that?
because I saw through on the photographs and the video.
Okay, go ahead.
And it was not there after they disappeared during the search and search warrant that San Diego did in the initial photographs. It's not there.
During your investigation, well, we've zoomed in on the photograph of the road that's in the bathroom several times. It appears to be Terry Clough Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay. During your review of the investigation, did you learn any other information about Terry Clough Roads?
Not 100% sure I understand the question.
Okay. During your investigation, did you get any other information about Terry Clough Roads?
Yes.
And you seem to be hesitant. Do you recall what that information was?
No.
May I approach?
Sure.
Oh, I don't have to ask. I'm going to show you Bates stamp 6131. Last paragraph. Let me know if that refreshes your recollection. Did you just say you do remember that?
Yes.
Okay. What did you learn regarding Terry Clough Roads?
Your Honor, objection, foundation, and hearsay. I don't know what he learned.
Sustained.
Not offering to prove the truth, I'm offering it to rebut some of the information on the cross-examination.
Sounds like that would be for the truth then.
Not necessarily.
Not for the truth, and it's not relevant.
Well, we heard a
So the objection sustained.
As part of your investigation, you're looking to try to match up stuff that's found in the graves with stuff that's in the homes, or that was in the homes in 2010 from the photographs you saw.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was there, in any of the photographs you saw, 4 Terry Clough infant robes?
No.
Did you have information in your investigation that 4 Terry Clough robes were purchased by Summer McStay on February 4th,
Your
2010?
Honor, we're going to object, now they're getting in hearsay, and also leading a witness without foundation.
The objection sustained is the hearsay.
Move to strike.
There wasn't any answer.
You never found 4 Terry Clough robes, or you never saw photographs of Terry Clough robes from the San Diego photographs that you saw.
That is correct.
There were some questions on Tuesday about pods. And in particular, one of the questions that was within the framework of the direct exam was about the keys that you testified on direct Tuesday.
So,
And there was a question as to whether or not those keys belong to a pod. And you mentioned something about a storage unit. You recall that? Okay, can you explain that further, please?
so we went to the storage unit, it was AMS storage, changed its name to storage, etc., to see if we could find any records regarding the storage shed that Mr. Merritt and Joe had.
Your Honor, I object to this foundation. There's actually no evidence that they presented that my client and Mr. McStay owned a storage pod or storage unit together. So I'll move to strike that answer.
Sustained on foundation grounds.
Did you receive information about a storage unit that was owned by either the defendant or Joseph McStay?
Yes,
What did you do in response to that information?
we attempted to verify it.
Were you able to verify it?
No, we weren't able to find any concrete records. We were able to get they let us have the computer, but I don't recall any. I should strike that. Through testimony, well, through interviews, we determined that's where they had the storage shed. I don't believe we ever found a unit number or anything like that.
Your Honor, I object to the word they, and I move to strike the foundation.
Sustained. Now, that portion of the answer is stricken and the jury's instructed to disregard it.
You went to a storage unit.
Correct.
Based on the information you received.
That is correct.
What kind of keys did that, or what kind of locks did that particular storage unit sell?
They sold shadows.
As the foundation at the time, that was a different owner at the time they went there.
Was counsel testifying?
Let's do it.
Counsel's comment.
The objection is sustained. The jury's instructed to disregard comments of both counsel. And remind you again, the statements of counsel and any information included in their questions, again, is not evidence. It's only the witness's testimony or answers or response to the questions that is evidence.
We talked about another question that was within the scope of direct was the inspection of the truck. Recall that line of questioning.
Do?
You mentioned something about a Faro scan. During cross-exam, when you were being questioned, can you tell us what your understanding of that Faro is?
Objection is the foundation relevant to the understanding.
Overruled. Nancy.
So what the Faro is, it's a 3D digital scanner. And you actually set it up and it takes pictures and it shoots a laser and it measures all of the points on the car. In the neighborhood or wherever you're at, in the residence, we use it for crime scenes, traffic accidents, all sorts of stuff. So it actually photographs and takes millions of measurements.
And was that done on the truck?
Yes, it was.
By the truck, I am assuming you're referring to Mr. Merritt's truck in 2010.
I'm going to show you what counsel showed you. Exhibit 795.
Yeah, the display be removed.
I'm sorry?
There's a display of other evidence on the screen. That be removed.
It's not on these screens, so
Okay.
I think it was akin to some of the underlying photographs of various scenes.
Actually, there was something else that was
Okay.
speculative. Yeah, where this was at, Mr. Rodriguez, can I approach?
I'm sorry?
Mr. Rodriguez, can I approach all?
Sure. With the reporter? Or?
No.
Okay. Would this be a good time to take our morning recess?
It'd be a great time to take it.
All right, we'll go ahead and take our morning recess at this time, 15 minutes. Keep in mind the admonitions previously given to you, not to form or express any opinions about the case, not to discuss the case. We'll see everyone back in about 15 minutes.